All right, so I think I am about to sell this car. So I'm gonna make a video of all the wiring stuff I've added to it, slash nuances of the car. So somebody will have something they can go back to, and if they undo some wiring or if something happens, they can go back and wire it. So we'll start over here. Just labeled all this stuff. Trying to get a clear view. So this is the battery in. It's the MSD 4 solid state relays, and you know, the 4 inputs I used. They're all power signals. This one's a ground back here. You gotta just ground it to the chassis. We'll start from front to back. This little red one is it's a keyed 12 volt. I get it from the fuel pump relay under there. Comes on with the key, which works. So that goes out to my master relay, Holly, and then well, this green one goes to the master relay, and that one goes to Holly. The blue wire right here, this comes from the pressure switches. I'll show how that's done shortly, but basically when it goes through a wire over there that I'll show you in a minute. That is only on when the AC is on inside the car, because the AC does work. So it goes from over there and it goes through the low side pressure switch, which is down there, and then it comes out and goes to the high side pressure switch, and then it comes back to right there. So when the pressure isn't low and it isn't too high, it will click the compressor on, and that's what this wire is. This is AC compressor, 12 volt out. And the third wire in is the fuel pump. That's Holly, the fuel pump command wire, whatever you want to call that. Triggers that on, and this is the power, and that runs the length of the car to the 450 in the back. And I guess the stock ground, which I thought would work, isn't strong enough, so I had to cut into the hat, the ground that comes out of the hat back there, and ground it. It's grounded. You can't see it because the tire's in the way, but it's grounded on the package tray back there. So that is also grounded externally, but the fuel level gauge works as it should. And then this wire, the fourth one, well, depending on which way you look at the solid state relay, but this is the starter that comes directly from the ignition switch. That's the only thing one of the only things I only didn't make work properly on the car. So the neutral safety switch doesn't work. It will start based on the key with in any gear. So be careful. Just make sure you got it in park or neutral. And that's the starter that goes to the starter. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. This is flex fuel sensor, and this goes over to this is actually Matt's harness, Sloppy Mechanics, the original one, not those couple companies that copied his, nonetheless. So that's that, and then it goes to the alternator as well. So that's back there. It plugs into the I think you can see it. Yeah, this is it right here, I believe. It plugs in here, which Matt made. The flex input. Get some focusing. There. That's the flex input. So that's from Matt's harness to Holly. This right here, this is the wire I was talking about. This is these three right here. I don't know if you can. 1, 2. You don't use this third one. That's a stock harness. That's just RTV'd closed. The only one wire you use on this harness is the AC on. So when the air conditioning is turned on, any mode that would normally command the AC compressor to come on goes, like I said, it goes out of here, and then it goes across the back, then it goes to the low side pressure switch, and then it comes out of that and goes to the high side pressure switch, then it comes out of there, it goes to the Holly or the MSD solid state relay, and then that outputs the AC on. The only thing I haven't wired yet that I'm thinking about doing is this ground wire right here. I haven't labeled either. Right here. It goes directly to the battery. That is the ground side of the compressor. I think I'm going to add in a relay and use one more Holley output to normally be closed, and then when I go, you know, past 30 or 40% throttle, it open. So it, you know, that's a rudimentary way to turn off the AC compressor. If not, I'll just tell whoever buys it to turn the AC off before you rip it. This is this harness. I got the fan trigger. It's the gray and yellow. That goes down there to the fan. It uses the stock fan. I got rid of the pulse width modulation module, whatever the Ford stuff has. I couldn't figure it out, so it's just a big 70 amp relay. So it gets power directly from the battery, and then it gets ground from right here, and then it's grounded below. The actual fan is grounded to the frame down there. This is so this harness only uses 2 wires. It uses this one. This is the reverse input. So if down below on the transmission, it does utilize a GM neutral safety switch just to make the reverse lights work. So that's what that goes. That goes into the stock lighting control module. So this wire goes down to the neutral safety switch down below, and then that's how the reverse lights work. This is the oil pressure ground. That's like the factory gauge. I'll show you in a second. It's a dummy gauge. It obviously has a Holley oil pressure back there. But this, just to make the oil pressure not read 0, I just have it directly grounded right here. This is the boost control input. That, look at the pin map on the Holley. It goes to, well, there, that one right there, the gray and black. And then on the other side, it goes inside to a keyed 12 volt source. Here's the Holley dash, Holley CAN bus. I just labeled that. So it's kind of tough. I think I want to put a splitter on it because this just goes to the dash. I think I was going to put a splitter on it so then you can have one go to the dash and then one go to the tuning cable. That didn't bother me enough yet. This is the cruise input. It comes from the Dakota Digital box that's down below there. Literally all you need to do, my buddy John, John Ramos showed me, you literally just need to give one wire, it's this one right here, it's the gray wire, a speed signal, which I give it from the Dakota Digital box, and then you physically hook it up, and the cruise control does work, just as it was factory. I just made my own little bracket there. Holler if you need any fab work. So cruise does work on it, which is pretty neat. Have I said enough? What do we got here? Reverse input, make sure I'm not missing anything. We're gonna go inside and show you what I got. There's the flex, I already showed you that. Oh, this right here. So when I turn the AC on, this is an input to Holley, AC on input. This goes into Holley, and Holley immediately turns the fan on. That was the best way I could figure out how to do it. So anytime you turn the AC on and it turns the compressor on, just anytime you turn the compressor on, it will turn the fan on. So it runs pretty dang cold in the winter if you turn like the defrost and the floor on, because the fan will come on because it uses the compressor. So it's like 140 degree coolant temperature because the fan's running nonstop. And then let me pop this really quick. Show the trunk. There's the drag radials the car comes with. That's what I was showing you back there. That red wire is what runs the length of the car from that solid state relay and then goes down to the hat, the stock hat, and then does the 450. And then down below, not pictured, which you can't see, is the ground for the fuel pump. And then under here is all the, let's see, come on, focus. Kind of gets a little cluttered, but these are all the, labels for the Dakota Digital. So there's the power, the ground, The speed input, that is actually from Holly. So in the settings in the pin map, if you look, it says, turn speed input or speed output on. So it's a speed output from Holly, but this is the speed input to the Dakota Digital. And then there's the speedo, my hand in the way, the speedo output that goes up to the dash. That's what this was utilized for, because it was slightly off, or it was way off. It was like half, so I had to use this. That's the cruise output, which actually uses the same location. So if you ever take that off, just cut these zip ties, lay it down, take a picture of it. It's kind of tough to see, but be careful if you get in this car and don't want to jam your foot down and pull all those wires out. And then there's the RPM input. So it's the input from Holly. Well, it's the output from Holly, but it's an input to the Dakota Digital. And there's the RPM output behind that. There we go, come on, focus. RPM output, and that goes to the dash. So all the factory dash is plugged in as normal, except I had to get a coolant wire. That's what I'll have to show you. The coolant wire from up under the hood. So it gets coolant temp, which it reads a little off because it reads right most of the time, but because of the location of it, it reads like high. So don't really pay attention to that. Just pay attention to the coolant temp there. So basically all this is plugged in as factory behind it, except it's got the speedo from Dakota Digital, the RPM from Dakota Digital, and then the coolant wire that I'm about to show you again because I forgot. What I did was somebody showed me which sensor I needed. It's like from a Mustang, I believe. So I bought that bung. Normally that comes out this way, but I had no room, so I cut that off, put this bung in there, and that's like a Mustang GT or Mustang, whatever, it doesn't matter, coolant temp sensor. And because of the location of it right before the thermostat, it'll like read really high for a second, and then when you can see it open, the gauge just like boom, just drops right down. But this has one ground wire, and that ground wire comes over right there, which I've labeled. Oh yeah, that's what I meant to show you guys. Coolant ground, that's right there. And then this green wire goes up into the dash. So it's pretty neat. The whole dash works. I think that's everything worth mentioning for the wiring. Actually, yeah, there's one more thing. This little fuse box. Come on, focus. Sorry if you guys are getting motion sickness. I have this labeled as well. This is the Dakota Digital 12 volt right there. It's this fuse right here. This one over here further back is for the reverse lights, so that's where it gets the power. Yeah. Why do I have that wired like that? Yeah, that must go to a relay, now that I think about it. And then this is the 12 volt boost control that I was meant to show you. So the boost is constantly on. I just have separate tunes where one is like, 0% boost duty, and one is, like 30%. After that, it's basically out of fuel. And then, really that's all I need to explain, except how to drive it. So I built this 4L80E. It's got a triple disc in it, so it will lock, or I mean, not it will, it can lock in third wide open and be safe. So I have it set up in the Holly to lock in third and fourth. So if you're just gonna be like leaving a red light and having some fun, something you're not gonna hold it to the floor for, till you go 130. Like I was saying, I have a Sonex Smart Tech Overrun kit in the transmission. What that does is, these transmissions, if you don't, so you have some light. Normally with a 4L80, if you just put it into drive 4, so this is a 4, just disregard this. If you put it in a drive 4 and just mash it, comes on boost, you can shatter the overdrive because the overrun clutches aren't on. There's another video in my on my YouTube channel that explains and shows what is actually happening. Normally you'd have to put it into drive 3 to protect that, but in mine, well, this one, you just put it into drive 4 because it will, the kit that I have in there, the Sonics kit, applies the overrun clutches while you're in drive 4, so that's safe. The only danger is if you just floor it, you're gonna go, if you hold it to the floor until you don't let off, it will go into overdrive and you'll be doing like 160, so just, that would be the only danger there, I guess. But so just leaving a red light, just put it in drive 4, floor it, have some fun, then let out of it, and then it will, shift through the rest of the gears. But if you're gonna like race it, pull it down into 2, which is actually 3, drive 3, because it will shift 1, 2, 3, and then lock the torque converter at the end of the pass. And then you let out of it, you touch the brakes. When you touch the brakes, it will unlock the torque converter, and then you can go into drive 4. What you don't want to do is like floor it, have it get fast enough to where the tune will lock it in 3rd gear, and then let out of it, and then without touching the brake, if you don't touch the brake, it will not unlock the torque converter. So if you get it into 3rd gear with the shifter in drive 3, pretend that 2 is the 3, if you get the transmission into lockup while it's in 3rd gear and just go like this without touching the brake, it will shift 3rd to 4th with the torque converter locked, which isn't ideal. I don't think it'll break anything. I've done it a few times, but it'll get your attention. So basically at the track or anywhere you're going to rip it to 120, 130, let it shift 1, 2, 3, lock the torque converter, touch the brake, then go down into drive 4, then get on the brakes again. I hope that was not too confusing. The only thing, I gotta put a light in there. See, look at that, we're making a whole ton of oil pressure with just the key on. So, but I think that's everything I wanted to cover about the car for whoever buys it, because I got other projects, and the main thing is I've just seen too many people get way too far over their head and never finish their projects and part it out. And I wasn't gonna go out like that, homie. I wanted to at least finish this thing and sell it for a little bit of money. The reason it's low is because I got a whole bunch of weight in the trunk, so that's why we're busting a sag. But yeah, probably gonna be going to a new home soon. I just wanted to give a little how-to and a little explanation, because I know there is a ton of stuff that I'm sure I've done that I don't fully remember, so I figured I would even document it here, not only for the person who's buying it, but for myself, because I'll probably forget all this crap. God forbid whoever buys this has an issue and they're like, well, what the hell? And I'm like, fuck, I don't remember what the hell I did. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for tuning in, because really this video is only for me and whoever buys it. So thanks for watching, everybody else that isn't buying it. Bye for now.